Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. This right here, and we go back, don't go yet. This right here is why it's a big deal that you go somewhere that they preach the truth. All of the truth. The parts that you like, the parts that sound good, oh wow, I like that. And they also have to preach the parts you don't like. It's like, man, I don't like that at all.
Amen.
I wish you wouldn't preach that.
Amen.
Because we have to follow and teach all of the commandments.
Amen.
All of the Word of God.
Amen.
Now we can go forward. To verse 20. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. We're not going to make it on our own power. We don't have righteousness of our own. The scribes and the Pharisees knew all the Word of God, the Old Testament, did their best to keep it. And some of them knew it all by memory and tithed their mints and their little tiny veggies that they grew in their garden and kept all the Word of God, everything they could do, and they didn't get them there. He said, if you can't do better than them, you're not going to enter in out of your own righteousness. Next verse. For you've heard it was said of them in the old time, thou shalt not kill. And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever shall say to his brother Reka, which is a slur, like, I think it means fool or something like that, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever say thou fool shall be in danger of hellfire. Okay, so the Old Testament was about actions, strictly about actions. And as long as you did all the actions properly, you theoretically, if you were perfect in doing them, that would let you be saved. Now, it was a training exercise for the people, all of us, because what it taught people is, no, you can't. But in some ways, the New Testament, with the grace and the mercy that's there for us in the New Testament, in some ways it's harder. The Old Testament said if you kill someone, you're guilty. Mm-hmm. But the New Testament says, under the New Covenant, that even if you're angry and you end up calling your brother a fool, you're in danger of losing your salvation. We cannot have grudges against people. We cannot have bad feelings against people and hold those, because the bottom line is, who does that hurt? Does it hurt them? Usually not. I mean, if there's somebody that I'm very upset with, that I'm not willing to talk with them, I'm sorry, I don't sit next to them in church. I'm going to sit over there. They're sitting there. Somebody I have a grudge against, I don't want them around me. I'd rather not see them saved. I'd rather not see them in church, hearing the Word of God. That alone certainly is bad for them, but mostly it hurts me, because it puts something, an area in my heart and my spirit that keeps God from being able to deal with me, from being able to lead me where I need to go. And that will prevent me from trusting God and yielding to God. Because I say I don't trust. I say I am not willing to receive. Even God, I don't trust enough to yield everything and yield this all up to God. And that's a bad place to be, because it will keep us from being saved. And then as we go on to the next verse, it says, leave thy gift, therefore. Did we miss one here? Yeah, 23, I think, sorry, yeah. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remembers that thy brother hath aught against thee. And remember, in the Old Testament, they brought gifts of offerings, and they brought calves and they brought pigeons for sacrifice. We come up with ourselves. We give the Lord the offering of praise. But realistically, when we go up to the altar, we're coming up here before God. I say, I'm giving you me.
Thank you, Jesus.
You don't want calves. You don't want birds. You want me. You want me to say, I'm yours, Lord. I give myself to you. Please lead me. I trust you.
Amen.
And so our offering is us. If we come up to the altar, we bring our offering up to the altar, and we remember. And you notice that even it says your brother has aught against you. There's something in your mind that they've got something against you. There's something there. Next verse. Leave there thy gift before the altar. Go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come offer thy gift. Because that in our hearts and our spirit will keep us from yielding to God enough to be saved, enough to grow. It will take us away from the salvation we have. It will keep us from ever receiving the salvation. And at the very, very least, it will keep us even if we're living from God, because it's a process. Living for God isn't something I do one day, one time, and then kaboom, that's it. I can go live any way I want. I can walk away from God. Remember, that's what we started with. What can separate us from the love of God? Separate us from the love of God. This was to the church that he was writing this initially in Rome. You separate somebody from something else, someone else. You separate something from something else means you were together to start with. So what can separate us from the love of God? What can take us away from the love of God and get us to a place where we're lost? If we go to Hebrews 12:12. It says, wherefore, lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees. In other words, praise. Lift up your hands and praise. The feeble knees are, when you get your knees knocked, the old saying, you get so scared your knees are knocking. We need to get away from fear. In the presence of God, we need to reach out and praise. Let God take away any spirit of fear that's in us. And reach out to Him in praise and worship. Next verse. And make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. So if we do that, it will make a straight path for us to walk on. So the things that we need healing for in our lives in order to live for God, in order to stay saved, will be healed. Next verse. Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Another nice straightforward verse there, and we're going to actually teach on holiness either this coming week or the week after, over in Caribou, probably the week after. But essentially, follow peace with all men. Follow implies a process. I seek and I follow and I keep trying to get my spirit in a place that has no offenses against anyone. And holiness means separation out from the world to God. That's basically it in a nutshell. And it entails a lot of things in my lifestyle. But it comes down to attitudes. It comes down in my heart. It means I'm separating out from the world. I'm separating myself to God. I want to live for God and do what pleases God, draw closer to God. Just as our walk with God is a relationship, just like a marriage relationship.